today's video, we are tackling another part of my bedroom. It's actually this mess of things. Whenever we moved, we didn't really have any furniture because when we moved across the country, we sold everything that wouldn't fit inside of our cars. So a lot of organizational stuff, like my old storage unit, didn't come with us. And it's been 8 months now, and I'm kind of over seeing all of this mess everywhere. I'm overseeing my printer every time I wake up. And I want to make a cabinet that is going to fit not only all of the things on the floor, but also fit and hide the printer. I don't honestly use the printer very much now, but it is useful every now and then. I just don't need it out 24/7 like I used to. So I think building a cabinet that hides the printer, that I can still use it when I need it, but overall, 90% of the time, it is going to be hidden away behind a door. Everything else, however, it does need a place. It does need to get way more organized because right now it is just a mess of everything from craft supplies to books to important documents. Everything is just on the floor, and I want to build a cabinet that will fit and house everything possible. So it's gonna be pretty big. I also want this cabinet to look more like a piece of furniture and less like a utilitarian cabinet, which has been really difficult to find online. So I think building is going to be the best option. So for the actual body of this cabinet, I am using 4x2 by 3/4 thick MDF plywood. I will be honest, at first I wanted to use poplar, but unfortunately my Home Depot does not have any in stock, so MDF is the way to go for me. I have already marked out all the areas that I'm going to be cutting. This cabinet body itself is going to be 30 inches tall by about 18 to 20 inches wide, so pretty much the whole 2 feet. I might cut off a little bit after I've assembled just to see, because my printer does have to go in here. But as far as the body goes, it's going to be 30 inches tall, and then I'm adding legs to the bottom, so the cabinet, once finished, is going to be taller, but we're just working on the body today. And then this strip right here is actually going to be the back support braces for the entire cabinet. So it's a very sturdy cabinet. Also, I will say this is kind of heavy. I don't know if it's just MDF in general is heavier, but yeah, these are quite sturdy pieces of plywood and definitely going to be a very sturdy cabinet. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to physically pick this cabinet up, but that's what I have Cam for. Cam can help me with this once it's all assembled. But we're gonna go outside. Backlit. This is kind of the only place I have walls that I can kind of lean things on, so this is where we're making this happen. The pocket holes are done. There is 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom, and that's how I'm going to attach the bottom piece and the top piece. I have this first piece, and I'm keeping in mind that in the back, so you would be in the back part of the cabinet, I'm in the front part of the cabinet. This back part, I'm leaving a little bit of a gap so I can put like very thin, probably like beadboard or something pretty. That way it's not just support braces, it's going to have something there that's just more aesthetic. But I kept that there, and then the front part I have a little bit of a gap for doors. Other than that, I am using my square, making sure everything is right angles, and I'm going to use 1.5 inch Kreg pocket hole screws to be able to screw this in. now that we have the box actually built, we're going to do the supports. I know right now it probably looks sturdy, but actually it wiggles quite a lot. So I'm going to add in some support brackets, which is why I had the extra pieces. I'm going to cut these down to length, and then I'm going to have one at the top and then one at the bottom. That way it just gives it more support. It'll connect these two side pieces together. That way everything is kind of one cohesive thing instead of how it is now. It's leaning a little bit. Now I ended up using smaller screws because I realized the 1.5 goes through this. I don't know why Google lied to me, but I believe it's the 1 inch, not the 1.5 inch. Luckily, the pocket hole jig kit I got comes with screws, so I am leaving the bottom with long screws just because I don't have enough, but the top and these back pieces I'm using the 1 inch screws. And then I have the 1 inch screws on order, and I'm just going to take those out and replace them once they get in. But I'm using 1 inch, not 1.5. Okay, so day 1 of building this cabinet is done. I look like an absolute hot mess. I genuinely don't think I've felt so nasty in my entire life, but I feel so good about this thing. I mean, I'm sitting on it and I'm a little over 100 pounds, so I think it'll be able to hold everything. I will say this is probably going to be a very heavy cabinet. I know I said I was gonna put legs on it. I might end up putting wheels, because right now I have a towel underneath this thing and I'm still kind of struggling to get this moved around. I'm not 100% sure how heavy this is, but she's a beast. She's a beast for sure, which I am happy about because the printer is going to be in here. I wanted it to be heavy duty. My old one that we used to have, the printer sat on top, and every time the printer would go off, it would shake the entire cabinet. So I wanted this to be super sturdy, and I mean, seems pretty sturdy. It's not really moving. Yeah, day 1 is done. I'm very happy with how this turned out. And now I just need to figure out how to make cabinets. It is a new day and we are finishing, hopefully, this cabinet build. I have already been to the hardware store. I went to Home Depot and Lowe's to get all the last things that I need. I ended up buying another sheet of the MDF 3/4 inch, which is what like the actual cabinet box is made out of. And that is going to make the face frame and the covers of the drawers, like I think they're called drawer faces. But I bought one of those, and I also went to Lowe's and bought some really cute, like little ornate feet. I want this to look more like a cabinet, like a piece of furniture, and less like kitchen cabinets. So I think the feet are going to help that and make it look like a piece of furniture and less like just a cabinet that has no feet. But we did that. I'm sorry the heater just turned on if you can hear that, but I need to start cutting all of my pieces for the face frame and for the drawers. Now that I have my pieces cut with this little divot in, I need to cut the bottom piece. So I came over here, and this is like the overall cabinet, but I have just one of the drawers, obviously not the front part, and I'm going to measure from this little divot here all the way to this little divot here. That way when I cut the board, I can be able to just slide it right into these things, be able to put the front on, and it will be a full drawer ready to go. Now that I have both my sides pocket holed in and every single one of these has the little slip so I can slip the bottom in. Sorry, I don't know like the proper term for this, but basically these are my sides, this is my front and back. I put pocket holes on the sides just because I didn't want to see it on the front ends, and I'm going to pocket hole it all together. Hi, Stella. And I have these little slits right here for the actual bottom piece, so I'm going to slide the bottom piece in. That way when it's connected all four sides together, it's going to be like a really sturdy box. But before I can do that, I need to put the back and then the two sides together. That way I have the ability to slide in the bottom. Now basically all I'm doing is lining up not only this edge but also these two edges. That way when I slide in the bottom piece, it's all going to line up together. I'm also making sure that I don't go too far out on this one. These are exactly as long as I can have the drawer itself, so these little side pieces can't go past it. So yeah, we're just basically making sure. It's a lot of checking again, checking one more time, and then you screw everything together. Now, what I've come to realize with the backing of these, because I'll be completely transparent, I've made a drawer already because I wanted to make sure how this fit, and this is actually too small. So I have to go back and I have to buy a completely new piece of backing for that drawer. But it made me realize that it's better for me to leave this a little bit longer than necessary, and then all I do, or all I'm going to try to do, is grab this end piece, kind of butt it up right where it's going to be, that way everything is flush together, move it sideways, and I can see how deep the actual groove itself is, and I'm just gonna mark it here. That way I can go back, cut it, and everything will be a tight fit and not be too small, because yeah, you live, you learn. This is all new for me, and I definitely learned pretty fast that this is a little bit more difficult because you have to get not only the height wise but the width correct as well, and there's not a lot of room for error. I mean, you can kind of see, you can see just how thick this is. I only have that much wiggle room on each side, and if it gets too short, then you end up with the problem I have now, where I have to go and get a whole new piece of backing. Hear me, but the heater is on, so I know there's gonna be like a slight humming. But we have the two side pieces. It's not connected, but they're just kind of sandwiched in there. I'm gonna sandwich this one as well, and this way it'll give me an idea as far as like how wide this is, and also what I want this inside to look like. So this is the exact same depth as this bottom piece and the top piece. I'm also probably gonna put like a trim up at the top. I haven't fully decided though if I'm gonna do that or if I'm just gonna make this cabinet a little bit big, like taller than these, because this one's already going to be like a different size. So I don't know if it really matters if this top one is necessarily the same size as the other three, but we're gonna see. I'm kind of going back and forth on it. But yes, I've just sandwiched these. They're not like in place, they literally can move. But I have this piece, which was cut off from the side pieces. So this is the exact size of this insert. And I'm kind of just gonna sandwich this one in. It seems to be a lot of sandwiching for this stage, but basically gonna do that. It tells me like from here to here. And I think if I'm going to do this trim piece, I'm going to do like a mark here and then a mark here. And now that I have the mark up here and the mark right here, I'm going to measure from that point to that point and then just kind of make it that size all the way down. and these will be the front faces of my cabinets. And there's just a little sliver of room. That way there's a gap between this edge piece and the actual drawer itself, so it could still obviously open and close. It looks like the cabinet pieces, hold on, I need to make this much darker than it is because I can barely, like 4 1/4. So I'm gonna go down here, same thing. So this is not how I thought I'd be ending this video. I'm kind of stuck right now. I'm not really sure what to do. Basically, I cut all of these cabinet like covers just to realize that I cut them all too short because when I did the measurements, I didn't think of the drawer slides and the fact that they need to come out. So when I was measuring for these face frames, I didn't account for the fact that when they come out, it sticks because these drawer slides are hitting this corner piece. So these have to come out, and that means these now have a gigantic gap where they weren't supposed to. And overall, I think I just wasted like $30 on an MDF panel that I'm gonna have to go buy a new one of. I'm trying to troubleshoot it and maybe, I don't know, do like decorative trim around like all of the drawers, so I only have to buy decorative trim and I can still use these pieces. But as of right now, I don't really know what to do. Yeah, like I said, it's not the way I wanted to end this video, but I feel like it's getting too long and this is kind of where we're stuck at. It's been weeks of building this cabinet, and for it to kind of end like this is not ideal at all, but it's where we are. I have to troubleshoot this and figure it out. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.